Hi, we're Josh and Emily with Aurora the Adventure Bus. Come inside for a tour.
When we were first dating, we were each working our own jobs in different states. I was working for an engineering firm in Minnesota, and Josh was working for the family construction business in South Dakota. Every chance we got, we were taking road trips in his pickup for a week long at a time, getting to the destination, driving overnight, taking as long of a vacation as we could before road tripping all the way home. So we loved traveling with each other before Buslife, and so then once COVID hit, it kind of started to unlock bits and pieces of Buslife for us. My job went completely remote. Josh ended up switching jobs from the family construction business to a remote job in a similar field. Once we were both working remote jobs, then we kind of started to think, wow, we don't really have to live in any specific spot, so why don't we just live wherever we want in a tiny house? So when you walk in, you're going to be in our living room. We have a couch, which is rather deep because we can pull out the couch to be a queen size bed if we have guests. So we love to have a lot of 360 views whenever we can, but sometimes it can be a little sunny if we have all of our curtains open. So we made sure to have curtains that could be blackout curtains, and then within them we have reflectix sewn in, so that acts as a thermal barrier to help keep it more at a constant temperature in here. And so then when we do have nice weather, we wanted to have screens in our windows so that we don't have bugs getting in. So we made custom screens that we can pop in and out whenever we want the windows down. We switched out this old emergency exit to be our skylight, and then right in front of it we have a hanger for our hammock chair, which is great for when we turn our front screen into a projector for movie nights. We have some storage right here which leads into my office, so we can use these screens either as a TV screen for our living room. Otherwise, the main purpose is for when I'm working. Within my office, I have this tilt-up easel because I like to do hobbies that are kind of crafty. So in my spare time, I have that, and then I have the holes drilled for all my pens and pencils and crafty things. Then as you keep coming further, you start to enter our kitchen. On this side, we made sure to have a dishwasher because we go through a lot of dishes because we love to cook. So all of our small dishes, like plates and bowls and silverware, go in here. And so then everything that's left over is all of the big stuff that we're cooking in. So we made sure to have a really big sink to wash everything else. As you continue back, we have a 3-burner stove and oven combo that all runs off from propane. Some of our random larger items are stored in these hatches. Because of our roof raise, we were able to add uppers without have issues with headspace. So even when Josh is washing dishes, I can pop in here, get in our storage, and I won't hit him on the head, and it adds so much storage to our kitchen space. We did custom cabinets all the way along in our kitchen. We have plates, bowls, measuring cups, everything that you'd expect in an average kitchen. As you look back here, we have our magnetic knife rack, which we do take down every time before we drive so that they stay in good condition and they don't do any harm. As we continue back, so here we have our pantry as well as our pantry wall. To get them out, we just lift them up and tilt them out, and so then we can get them out to access them, but we have this nice lip on the bottom side here so that they can't fall out while we're driving. So they ride just like this while we're going down the road. We did the same concept on our spice wall. Right here, if we pull this chair out, is our dining room table. It latches right here and it can fold down, so we have extra space when we're not using it. Also below, if we tip it all the way up, is our pantry. We have a 12-volt electric apartment-sized fridge, so that makes sure that we have plenty of room between our freezer and our fridge, but we also have one more secret in the back.
We got married in April of 2020, and by December we had already purchased all of our materials that we could at Black Friday. We had the plans drawn up, and I flew down to Phoenix, Arizona to pick up a bus, and I drove it all the way back in one weekend, and we started work. In total, it took us just over 2 years to do. That's when we were still working our 9-to-5 jobs full time.
Some of our favorite places that we've been to, my personal favorite is Glacier National Park in the northwest corner of Montana. It's absolutely stunning, and the Going to the Sun Road is a scenic drive that you just absolutely wouldn't want to miss.
My all-time favorite is probably the Alcan Highway, so the highway to Alaska from Canada. It's just so beautiful. You're driving through the mountains, Kool-Aid blue lakes, and all sorts of parking where you can just park right on the shore of these lakes, and it's just amazing.
So we wanted to keep this old emergency exit on this side. It comes in really handy if we ever end up staying in Walmart parking lots, because then we can always just get our groceries and boom, our groceries are already in the kitchen. So then as we keep coming back, you can see that we have a couple steps up. That is because we didn't want to have to walk up and then back down at the rear wheel well. So we decided to make the back half of the bus just have additional storage in the floor. And then as you continue here, on the left is our bathroom. Let's go check it out. So with our storage that we have from the back half of the bus, we are able to have normal sized laundry basket right in our bathroom. So then we can just open the hatch and then shove our laundry in and close it, and dirty laundry is gone until laundry day. So we have a normal RV toilet versus a composting toilet. So that means that with the RV toilet that we have a black tank. So that means all of our solids are going to a separate tank to get stored until we go and dump them. Because we have the raised floor in the back half, we were able to keep the front part lower, which means the shower is the same height as the front part of the bus. We wanted to have a sink in our bathroom, but we wanted to make sure it wasn't taking up a whole lot of room, so we made sure to use a tiny sink, which is actually a succulent planter. As we continue back, we start to get into the bedroom. We have a queen size bed, and then our water tank is below it. We have a 200-gallon water tank under our bed. On the front side, we have these storage cubes, which act as our whole closet. So we have 2 emergency exits when we were converting the bus into our house. The front one we turned into a skylight, and this back one is now our rooftop air conditioner. Above the windows, we have a little bookshelf where we keep our books, our glasses, jewelry, all of the little trinkety things that you would normally keep on a bedside table, we stick up on our bookshelf. Then we wanted to have a way to document all of the adventures that we've had, so we make sure to take a picture of a good adventure in each state that we have an adventure in. Then Josh's office is in the back, so I'll let him tell you guys all about it.
So back here, we have a rear engine bus, so we had to work around that consideration. So our rear bench here is on top of our engine bay. I built custom covers for the engine bay so I could pull it all off. I need to work on the engine. But the engine bay is from this point down, and from here up is all storage, and then I have a workbench on top of that. Above our workbench, I have a little shelf here that has some of my scale models from when I used to work construction. Above my shelf here, I have just another storage compartment for lightweight things. Below where I'm standing is our 5 cubic foot deep freeze. So we really love having it. It allows us to either enjoy a bunch of fish from Alaska when we went up there for the summer and brought a whole bunch back with us, or if we go to Costco, we can load up and throw a whole bunch of stuff in this freezer. To my right here, I have my workstation for my 9-to-5 job. So I have a big desktop computer and then my monitors here, and I'm able to do my engineering job from basically anywhere. For our internet on the road, we use Starlink. We have the flat mounted on the roof dish. We have the can lights. These are all 12-volt electric can lights. And we put a bunch of them in because we really wanted to have a nice bright space because they don't really draw that much power. We also decided to add these USB charging ports. I think I have about 12 or 15 of them throughout the bus. And they're really nice because you can just turn them on and off and plug in things. You don't have to have little brick adapters everywhere throughout the bus. So my favorite part of bus life has definitely been meeting new friends and experiencing, basically Schoolypalooza has been our favorite event that we've gone to. It's where we've met all of our bus friends that we've been traveling around with.
You stole what I was gonna say. That was also gonna be my favorite part, because when we were doing our build, it feels like you are just alone in the world. Like everyone you know thinks you're a weirdo for building a house out of a bus, and then you go to an event with people just like you who have also built homes out of buses. They have amazingly similar mindsets and you just connect. And it is such a cool community because they are friends that are gonna last a lifetime.
So the first thing you'll probably notice is the extra windows up top. When we were doing the roof raise, we had to jog above the front windshield, and we decided instead of just putting sheet metal back to put the glass in here. And when we're traveling, you can see the mountains and everything. When you're traveling through the valleys and all that, you can see up and still see the tops of the mountains. Because it's a big glass window, it can get very hot up here. So we have a motorized curtain that we can just lower across the whole front window or leave it at just covering the top window for when we're driving. We also added a custom seat to our bus. This is actually our Jeep's rear bench seat. So a really challenging part of our bus build was this front dash. I built a custom maple dash so that I could add a whole row of gauges and screens up on top. So we have our GPS, our tire pressure monitor, and on the side I have all of the original switches for the bus plus a few extras. And then moving closer to me here, we have this lower part of the dash, which has our cat's litter box in it. We have shoe storage top and bottom here. And then this is normally where our garden is when we're traveling. Right now, most of the stuff got planted outside in our real garden, and this is just the rejects. On the way back down the Alcan Highway, we started looking at properties down in the lower 48, specifically Idaho. On the road, my biggest thing is I was missing out on having a shop and working on projects. Once you have the bus done, there really aren't many projects for you to work on anymore.
Just upkeep.
Having the shop where I can pull my semi-truck project or anything else in there and start working on it, that's one of my favorite things to do.
And I was missing having a real garden. So in the bus, I have a little herb garden in the front window, but that's all the gardening that I get to do in our tiny space. So I'm excited to expand my garden and have a more permanent garden to have fun in this summer.
We had promised ourselves that we weren't going to look at anything until we were coming back down, so we weren't
heartbroken if it was gone.
Yep, or yeah, it just was better that way. Pulled in, I pretty much immediately fell in love with it, and it just felt like home. Felt like it's where we belonged. So let's go outside and I'll show you the outside of the bus. So this is our front door to the bus. It originally was normal bus doors with that are the bifold or the open out type. But we put a metal plate across them, riveted it in place. And the bottom windows right now are covered up with a curtain on the inside, but we take those down when we drive. So we did an 18-inch roof raise on the bus. So where we cut it was right here, right below the windows, and then raised it up. And this is the panel we added. And we jogged the cut above the front door. We wrapped it around the bus, and same thing at the back, we had to jog it around a little bit. Above the roof raise here, you'll see we have awnings. We have 3 awnings on the bus. So the passenger side of the bus can pretty much have full shade. We also, while we did the roof raise, installed eyelets along the bus. Moving back a little bit further, we have the underbay. From this rub rail down was torn out, and I built a completely new storage bay underneath it. We have our water hookups on this side of the bus. They're technically on the wrong side of the bus, but we wanted to have a gravity fill to our tank, and the only way to do that was to have it on the passenger side because our tank is underneath our bed. And then this is one of our access doors to our engine bay. And then at the back here, we added our own custom fabricated hitch. Above that, we have our original factory bus window, which still opens up, and then we have a backup camera up top. As we move around to the driver's side of the bus, we have another access to the engine bay. As we move further up, you'll see our last awning here. This one is basically our little garage awning. It's when we can park the Jeep on this side and load stuff into our mid door here. So we have steps that lead up to the door if we need to, and a nice grab rail. On the roof of our bus, we have 2,400 watts of solar. That pretty much takes up the whole roof of our bus with the racking we did. And that feeds into our battery bank. I normally have my generator mounted permanently underneath here. I took it out because I needed to use it for a project. For propane, we normally carry 2 propane tanks. I did add airbag suspension to the front here because our bus is a pretty heavy build. It was drooping at the front. So adding those airbags basically as helpers, we're able to bring the bus back up to a normal ride height and allow us to clear obstacles easier. And then up front, pretty much the only thing I did different, so I added LED headlights, which are much better than the factory halogen bulbs.
So our property is about 38 acres. We're at about 2,600 feet in elevation, and we love our view. We are able to have views of 3 different valleys here and a nice view of the river that's behind us. And so we're enjoying all of that right now from the bus, but we're working on building out our shop that was here when we bought it.
So we wanted to create a home base with this property. We love the bus and we'll never get rid of it. We're always going to be traveling around with it.
We're definitely still going to try and hit the rest of the states that we haven't visited and make sure that we have lots of adventures yet. So I actually already have 2 different gardens already on the property. So we're near the shop. So Josh has been doing a lot of grading to get all of the rigs and the grading really nice for water to drain away from our shop. So in addition to that, when he was getting rid of all of that bad soil, he was able to bring in good topsoil for our garden. So I've been able to add plants all along here. I have some hostas, some peonies from my mom, and I'm gonna add a whole bunch of flower seeds in here very soon. But it's early spring, so everything is just getting started. So then on the other side of the shop is where the vegetable garden is. So let's go check that out next. So I'm here on the south side of the shop where I can have the most sunshine for the vegetable garden. So right now I don't have a ton of vegetables yet, but eventually I would love to have a lot of fresh vegetables so that we are more self-sufficient and don't have to go to town for all of the fresh produce.
So one of my favorite parts of this property is the shop here. This is a 30 by 40 shop. It came with concrete floors and a roof, but we had to do quite a bit of work to it to get it to fit our needs. One of the things that needed to fit was this backhoe that we got, but we had to raise the whole shop up 2 feet 2 inches so we could get the backhoe in and our bus if we need to do work on it. So last but not least, let's show you our favorite view from the property. So this was one of the things that sold us on this property. This view down with the river in the background and the mountains. And it's very cool too because behind us, it is 80 miles of wilderness before the next major highway. So it's just a really special spot and kind of a hidden gem that we are enjoying.
Thank you, Josh and Emily, for that tour of your extremely well-built, well thought out bus and beautiful property in Idaho. If you enjoyed Josh and Emily's videos, subscribe to their YouTube channel right here at The Hard Way. Lots of footage from this video came from their channel. And if you are building a mobile dwelling and in need of solar panels, lithium batteries, or mini splits, check out signaturesolar.com, my favorite source for all those inverters and more. And use my code JUICEBOX for $50 off anything you buy at checkout. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.